Um, well, he's here. I posted my video from his birth already, but I wanted to make a labor and delivery video to tell y'all kind of like, I guess, all the details of how everything went. So, as y'all know, I had my membrane sweep on Thursday the 23rd, so almost 2 weeks ago. Gosh, time's going by fast now. It was going by really slow. So I had my membrane sweep on that Thursday, and then from Thursday through the whole weekend, I was having all kinds of crazy early labor slash false labor, whatever you want to call it. You're still having contractions and just praying that your body's doing something. And I was starting to get really, really frustrated. My hips were hurting. I was having all kinds of groin pain. I was having consistent contractions, but then they'd be inconsistent. I was losing more mucus plug stuff. Friday evening, I went and got a pedicure, and I started having consistent contractions for about an hour, but they were like 8 minutes apart. They weren't close or anything, but it started making me nervous, so I'd gone ahead and called my mother-in-law to come in from out of town, and she came, and then I felt really bad because he didn't come on Saturday, and he didn't come on Sunday. On Sunday, I went to the health food store to get more. I needed more Primrose oil because I was about out of it. I had been using, since the membrane sweep, I had been putting 3 in the evening and taking 2 in the morning orally. And so anyway, I went to get more Primrose oil, and I was also looking for red raspberry leaf tea. That's what my doula recommended. And I couldn't find it in the tea section, but the people at the grocery store were really helpful, and they helped us find the red raspberry leaf tea in a capsule, which was just easier just to take the pill. And it was in this whole section for like women's health, and I saw black and blue cohosh, which I had read about before, but I couldn't remember the details on like if it was safe or what to take, or you know what it did, but I knew I had heard of it. And so the guy at the grocery store was really nice. He was like, well, we can call the midwife in town and see what she thinks. So I was like, that's great. So he called the midwife, and she recommended blue cohosh. And so that night, I took 2 of the red raspberry leaf capsules, and I took 2 of the blue cohosh. I'm not sure how many milligrams they were or anything. I'd have to look. But I did that, and I did my Primrose oil like I have been doing. And I started I was pretty much contracting all night. I wasn't paying attention to how like far apart they were or anything, because the exact same thing had happened the night before. All night long, like I had moaned and groaned in bed, and by the morning, everything went away. So this was Sunday night, and I had taken these new different supplements, and I was moaning and groaning all night, and about 3 o'clock, Micah was like, do you care if I go downstairs and sleep in the living room? And I was like, no, I don't care, because this is going to go away, and you have to go to work in the morning, so just go get some sleep. So he went downstairs, and I couldn't ever fall back asleep, and about 4:30 it occurred to me that, man, I'm having a lot of contractions. Maybe this is it, but I'm not going to hold my breath, because I've said that I don't know how many times this past weekend. So, sorry, this is going to be a long video. Anyway, so about 5:20ish, I decided to start timing them, because I was still having a lot of them, and they didn't seem horribly far apart. So I went ahead and started timing them. And a little after 6, I was like, okay, it's time to wake up my family. They were coming about every 3 minutes. They had started out about every 5 minutes, and quickly they were about every 3 minutes, lasting about a minute long. And so that hour I just spent in my bathroom. I'd like hold on to the bathroom counter and kind of sway my hips from side to side. in between contractions, I was kind of bored, so I was like tidying up the bathroom a little bit. I curled my hair. I hadn't done that all summer, but for some reason at 5 in the morning, I was like, I need something to pass the time while I'm waiting for contractions, so I did that. So I guess it was a little after 6. I woke Micah up and we started getting things together. Like, we weren't in any rush or hurry. Got stuff together. We woke up his mom. I called one of my cousins to come get Connor, and you know, just got everything ready. And I talked to the doula, and I kept having contractions, kept timing them, but they were getting to where that some of them were every 2 minutes apart or 3 minutes apart, and the ones that were every 2 minutes apart were kind of making me nervous. You know, I had wanted a home birth in the beginning, but once we had decided on a hospital birth, it's not like I wanted the baby born at home or in the car. You know, we're not prepared for that. So I wanted to be at the hospital. So, so the doula recommended, well, I told her I would feel more comfortable at the hospital just because they were so consistent. So we decided to go ahead and head out, and it was probably, I'm guessing on a lot of this time stuff because I wasn't looking at the clock, so I'm just estimating on the times, but it was probably about 7:30-ish, close to 8, I think, whenever we went to the hospital. And as we leave our house, we turn down like one of the main streets so that we can, like, well, it's one of the residential streets to get to a main street. Anyway, there are cars stopped, a couple of cars. One of them is my cousin that has Connor, and there's a man on a bicycle stopped messing with a donkey. Like, a donkey was, he wasn't in the road, but he was off to the side, but all these people were stopped for him, and I think he was injured, so I feel kind of bad. Well, I do feel bad about him, but who does that happen to? I'm on the way home from the, or I'm on my way to the hospital to have a baby, and there's a freaking donkey. Let me make sure my battery's not going dead. I think it's okay. Sorry, I thought my battery was going dead. Anyway, so we go to the hospital, and my doula is like, we pull up about the same time, and she's like, well, you know, if we go upstairs to labor and delivery, they're gonna stick you in the bed, and it's gonna be difficult to get out of the bed. You know, as much as we try, we will try, but, you know, it's going to be more difficult. And her recommendation was that we just stay in the lobby and stay down there as long as we can. We have a bathroom. We have indoor area to walk around. And so we'll do that. So we did that, brought in all of our junk. Micah and his mom hung out in the lobby and, like, where the seating is. And Jennifer and I, the doula, we did laps around the lobby because it's a pretty long hall kind of area almost. And about every other lap I had to stop and go pee. And so we did that. We just kept walking and walking, and I would stop. There are chairs kind of all throughout the lobby, and with the contractions I would just like stop and lean on a chair or lean on a wall, and for a long time just like swaying my hips back and forth was helping, but slowly they were getting more intense. We'd walked for a long time, probably an hour, hour and a half, before I was just really tired, and I was sleepy. I hadn't had any good rest in a while, and so I decided to sit on the birth ball for a while, and the contractions kept coming. I found that if I sat on the birth ball and like leaned forward to a chair and arched my back, then that really seemed to help for a while. My doula did, you know, counter pressure like on my hips, and like I think she was using her palm, and sometimes she'd use both hands. I think that's how it felt anyway. And she would press down on my lower back, and oh my gosh, that's like a magic wand. It was like instant relief. It was like having an epidural, but you still can feel your body, but like it cures pain. It's insane how that worked, but it did. So I stayed on the ball for a while, and I kept asking her, should we get up and walk? Am I going to make my labor stop by sitting too long? And she was like, you can rest as long as you want. Just go with, you know, how you're feeling. So I stayed on the ball for a good little while, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to get up and walk some more. So we did some more walking, more going to the bathroom. I had been checking my cervix like in the few days leading up. I know they say you're not supposed to, but I know a lot of people that do anyway, and so I did. So anyway, I went to the bathroom, and my doula had been coming in with me, you know, just in case something happened. And I finally, I kept feeling like I had to go to the bathroom, like go number 2. Sorry, this is going to be TMI also, but anyway, I had to go, and so but I felt like I couldn't with somebody in the room, so I asked her if she would care to step out so that I could go, and she was totally cool with that. I was like, I promise I'm not going to have a baby on the toilet. I just watched Anna Duggar, and, you know, she had hers in the bathroom. Of course, people were in there. Anyway, that's off subject, but, so I went to the bathroom, and then I was like, you know what, I'm going to check my cervix and see if I can, before I couldn't even reach anything, so I didn't even know what exactly my cervix would feel like at this point in a pregnancy. But after I went to the bathroom, I checked, and like I didn't have to go far at all. I was like, holy moly, yep, that's my cervix, and it's open. I could almost feel like a bulge of, I'm guessing it was the water, because it wasn't like rounded like its head. It felt like a bubble of my water bag. So I was very gentle because I didn't want to like for my water to break or anything right then. I guess it wouldn't have mattered, but I don't know. Anyway, so I did that, and I could tell that I had made a lot of progress. I kept walking for a little while longer, and finally the contractions were getting pretty intense, and I was starting to feel a lot of heaviness and pressure. Not like pressure like I had to push, but I knew he was getting a lot lower. And my body was telling me, okay, we need to go ahead and head upstairs because I think we're getting close. So we get in the elevator and go upstairs, and it is weird to have a contraction in an elevator. I don't know why, but that sure did feel weird. We get upstairs, and in labor and delivery, you have to walk by the nursery to get into where the nurse's station is, where you check in and everything. And I saw this newborn baby in the nursery, and Micah and his mom didn't see it. I'm pretty sure my doula saw it, but Micah thinks that I had a hallucination. Either way, whether it was a hallucination or a real baby, I saw a real baby in the nursery, and as soon as I saw that baby, it was like, I mean, like, just snap your fingers, and I was going into transition. It was like some kind of chemical thing happened in my body as soon as I saw that baby, and I was in transition. We went to the nurse's station, and everybody else did all the talking, because by that point in labor, when I was having a contraction, like, I wasn't quiet during contractions. I was moaning, like I was doing the open jaw, just moaning through them. And I remember I held onto the bar against the wall of the hospital there in labor and delivery, and I was just moving my hips from side to side. My doula was grabbing my hips and pushing them together and pressing on my back, and I was just moaning, and I was loud, and the nurse was trying to ask me questions, and at one point I was like, I can't hear her! And it's kind of, I was like, looking back, I could laugh, but it's a little bit embarrassing, because, I mean, I was not me, but looking back, I also know that I was in transition, and I was like kind of a psycho at that point. But it still had not crossed my mind that we're in labor and delivery, and the thought never crossed my mind that I could even ask for an epidural. Like, it didn't even cross my mind, which I wouldn't have anyway, but the thought never even crossed my mind. Anyway, so she asked me the questions. We get into a room. I go into a bathroom to get changed into the gown. I know I had said that I might labor in my own gown, and I just didn't. Everything happens really fast, and I didn't care. Excuse me. So I went in and got changed, had a few contractions in the bathroom, went and got in the bed, in the hospital bed, because they had to have me in the bed to come in and check my cervix and everything, and they checked me, and I was at 8 centimeters, and my doctor was kind of going back and forth, like, She wasn't quite sure if she should stay, but she had kind of a little emergency in the operating room, like she had to get something taken care of. But I could tell she was really nervous, like, okay, I've got to be here, but I've got to time this right. And she ended up having plenty of